Beachside vacations can only last so long, and for Trump, it was back to the office, aka the courtroom today, where he was confronted by reporters who wanted to know what the hell he was talking about at that rally.
During a rally in New Jersey on May 11th, 2024, Donald Trump encountered a series of comical errors, dubious remarks, and mishaps that left him exposed to ridicule. After a grueling week in court, the former president addressed his loyal followers, but his performance was not without flaws. The New York Times and other publications covered the event in an unconventional way, prompting Seth Meyers to respond in his own unique way.
You know, I'll admit, when I first heard about Trump's rally in New Jersey, I thought, hey, maybe the guy's finally chilling out a little, because this is the headline I saw from the New York Times. Away from the confines of a courtroom, Trump rallies beachside at the Jersey Shore. Why does every New York Times headline about Trump sound like an old-timey newsreel? Away from the confines of the courtroom, Trump rallies beachside at the Jersey Shore. Watch your French fries, Donald Trump. Those seagulls are mighty hungry.
Donald Trump addressed his enthusiastic followers and expressed his distinctive viewpoints in his characteristic manner.
Talk about hot dogs. I just had one, actually. I just had one. It was very good. I just had a hot dog, and it was very good. We have a much bigger crowd than Bruce Springsteen, right? Much bigger. I've been indicted more than the great Alphonse Capone. Scarface. Silence of the Lambs. Has anyone ever seen The Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man.
Meyers was quite surprised to find that some of the things Trump said on a recent occasion were very much alike to lines he had uttered in a prior show. Meyers pondered over this bizarre situation and whether it could be considered as plagiarism. Meyers continued his mocking of Trump by criticizing his praise of Hannibal Lecter as a great individual.
All right, well, let's see if we can get him to say this the next time out. The late, great Hannibal Lecter, he came up to me once, big cannibal, strong cannibal. Tears pouring down from his eyes onto the face he was eating. And he said to me, Mr. Trump, sir, I would never take a bite out of you because you have too much gristle.
Continuing on, Meyers addressed Trump's dubious judgments on distinguishing the good from the bad. Now, let's listen to Seth's take on this matter. Seth Meyers was taken aback upon learning of a supposed association between Frank Sinatra and Donald Trump. Meyers, like most people, found it hard to believe. He called Trump out for fabricating the tale and went on to ridicule him so thoroughly that he had no credible response.
Finally comes up with the name he's grasping for.
The worst president by far. Jimmy Connors is Jimmy Connors is good. He's also happy. Jimmy is a very happy man, both of them, because you know what? They want him out. Jimmy Carter.
Is it not the appropriate inquiry to make? What reason would someone, particularly a renowned vocalist such as Frank Sinatra, have to counsel Trump, who was not even a political figure, to abstain from consuming food prior to performing? As pointed out by Seth Meyers, Trump was not even involved in politics at the time. This occurrence was not even the most startling or dubious remark or action made by Trump at his rally. Just wait until you witness how he grappled with recalling Jimmy Carter's name while attempting to discredit him.
But if you didn't see Trump's rally, you'd think from that line of questioning that he was calling Hannibal Lecter as a witness in his trial.
Fortunately, the rally came to a close, but the amusing entertainment provided by Trump did not cease. Trump returned to court on May 14th, 2024, for his trial involving hush money. Reporters were eager to learn why Trump referenced Hannibal Lecter, hot dogs, and Jimmy Carter during the rally.
Owen testified. He said to me, this is a disaster, total disaster. Women are going to hate me. This is really a disaster. Women will hate me. Guys may think it's cool, but this is going to be a disaster for the campaign. And that's where Trump was wrong. It wasn't just any guy who thought it was cool. It was devout Christians. I may have fundamental disagreements with President Trump regarding the outcome of the 2020 election, but I will defend to the death his right to get spanked on the ass by a star.
Cohen's testimony held utmost significance as he detailed his discussions with Trump regarding the payment of hush money and the detrimental consequences that followed.
Seriously, what guys did Trump have in mind? Guys would think it's cool, like my best friends Sinatra, Connors, and Hannibal Lecter. We're going out later for hot dogs.
Sharing intimate details about someone, especially a former U.S. president, is not something people want to hear. However, Donald Trump seems to believe otherwise. Seth Meyers took it upon himself to reveal the identities of the individuals Trump mentioned, resulting in an embarrassing situation for the former president.
Cohen also revealed that Trump was not concerned about any potential fallout for his marriage if the story became public. When Cohen raised Melania to Trump regarding Stormy Daniels' fallout, Trump said, "Don't worry, how long do you think I'll be on the market for? Not long." Cohen says Trump wasn't thinking about Melania. This was all about the campaign.
The disclosure made by Michael Cohen, the former personal attorney to the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, has sparked a buzz in the political world. In an unexpected turn of events, Cohen revealed that Trump, his former boss, had not expressed any concern about his marriage with Melania when news of his alleged affair with adult film actress Stormy Daniels broke out. Cohen, who had been Trump's personal lawyer for over a decade, was privy to the inner workings of the Trump administration. In an interview on CNN, Cohen shared his account of how the former president had reacted to the scandal. According to Cohen, Trump had shown no remorse or concern for his marriage, despite the allegations of infidelity. Cohen's statement has raised eyebrows and sparked a debate about the former president's morality. Some have argued that Trump's lack of concern for his marriage is a reflection of his character and values. Others have defended Trump, saying that his personal life should not be a factor in his performance as a president. Regardless of the opinions, Cohen's revelation has once again brought the spotlight on Trump's alleged affairs and his personal life. It has also highlighted the complicated relationship between Trump and his former attorney. Cohen, who had once been a staunch supporter of Trump, has turned against him in recent years, leading to a fallout between the two. The controversy surrounding Trump's alleged affairs and his personal life has been a constant theme in American politics. It remains to be seen whether Cohen's revelation will have any impact on Trump's legacy or his political career. Nonetheless, it has once again reminded the world that the personal lives of politicians are often intertwined with their public image and the decisions they make.
Trump really thought if he ended up getting divorced for a third time after an affair with a star, he'd crush it on the dating scene. What would his Tinder bio said? Love hot dogs, hate Springsteen, will definitely cheat.
Seth Meyers, the renowned comedian, has once again taken a humorous jab at the President of the United States, Donald Trump. In his latest comedic monologue, Meyers expertly dismantled Trump's delusions of grandeur when it comes to his desirability as a partner. With his trademark wit and impeccable timing, Meyers left no doubt in the minds of his audience that the president's self-perception in the dating world was completely unfounded. As Meyers began his monologue, he wasted no time in getting straight to the heart of the matter. He pointed out that despite Trump's claims of being a very stable genius and a perfect physical specimen, he has never been considered a catch by anyone with a modicum of common sense. Meyers went on to argue that Trump's outlandish boasts about his attractiveness to women were nothing more than the delusions of a man who was completely out of touch with reality. In typical Meyers fashion, the comedian peppered his monologue with hilarious anecdotes and witty observations about Trump's dating life. He joked that Trump would have trouble getting a date, even if he offered to buy the entire restaurant, and that his attempts at flirting would likely involve bragging about his golf game and insulting his date's intelligence. Meyers also pointed out that Trump's history of infidelity and sexual misconduct would hardly make him a desirable partner for anyone. By the end of his monologue, Meyers had effectively dismantled Trump's self-perception as a desirable partner. He had used humor to expose the president's delusions of grandeur and to highlight the absurdity of his claims about his attractiveness to women. Once again, Meyers had shown that he is one of the most skilled comedians of our time, capable of using humor to expose the flaws and follies of our political leaders. We will continue to provide you with daily updates on these videos.
Do like a daily talent show where we're just doing monologue jokes.
Just jokes about him.
Yeah.
We'll go through old clips. Like, remember you were president, you said this?
I'm holding up a phone over your shoulder that's playing clips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we could do this. I would love.
Seth Meyers had Jimmy Kimmel on his successful late-night program on May 14th, 2024, and the audience was thrilled by their joint appearance. This, however, was not good news for Trump, who has an ongoing quarrel with Kimmel and Meyers. Although the hosts' collaboration was popular with the crowd, Trump did not share their enthusiasm, and it seems that their feud is far from over.
I'll have maybe 4. I had 100 because it appears that I once again ruffled the feathers of our Kentucky Fried former president. Is apparently, with all that's going on, still smarting from my joke about him at the Oscars. You know, Donald Trump.
For years, there has been a growing hostility between Donald Trump and late-night hosts Seth Meyers and Jimmy Kimmel. Their shows have regularly featured segments that mock Trump's personality, policies, and public mistakes, which only serve to fuel his animosity towards them. Trump's tweet on March 10th, 2024, revealed just how little respect he had for Kimmel. Despite this, Kimmel continued to make jokes about Trump, even suggesting during an appearance on Meyers' show that he may run for president again in 2028. The conversation turned lighthearted as Kimmel congratulated Meyers on extending his show's contract for another 4 years and joked that he hoped to witness Trump's next presidential bid.
Through 2028 at least, and I hope longer than that, you'll get to be here when Trump runs for president again.
No.
You'll be here through the whole
another re-election campaign, yeah.
Have you gone down to the courthouse? Because I've been thinking about going down.
I wanted to congratulate you. You actually got mentioned in the proceeding.
During a conversation with Seth Meyers on his program, Jimmy Kimmel brought up a significant event that has become a widely known political tale, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Kimmel jokingly suggested that his jokes about Donald Trump during the occasion could have prompted Trump's choice to run for president. The crowd found this entertaining and burst into laughter as Kimmel made light of the situation.
Making so much fun of him at the White House Correspondents' Dinner that he actually ran for president.
No, let's talk about yours.
Which was your fault, but it was exciting.
During a recent dinner, the famous late-night talk show host, Jimmy Kimmel, brought up a well-known occurrence from 2011. It was the time when the then President of the United States, Barack Obama, along with the host of the popular show Saturday Night Live, Seth Meyers, poked fun at Donald Trump, causing him to appear unhappy in the crowd. Kimmel, who has never shied away from teasing Trump on his own show, has ridiculed everything from his tweets to his personal life. However, Trump has always been sensitive to criticism and has difficulty laughing at jokes made at his expense. On April 24th, 2024, Kimmel further exposed that Trump was still bothered by a remark he made about him during his Oscar speech. During the speech, Kimmel referred to Trump as the worst host ever. This remark apparently did not sit well with Trump, who reacted by posting a comment on social media. It is no secret that Donald Trump has a thin skin when it comes to criticism. He is known to lash out at anyone who dares to speak negatively about him. This trait has been evident throughout his tenure as President of the United States and has been a topic of discussion on several occasions. Despite being one of the most powerful people in the world, Trump seems to be unable to handle criticism and often resorts to childish behavior to defend himself. Jimmy Kimmel, on the other hand, has never been one to back down from a challenge. He has made it clear that he will continue to poke fun at Trump and his administration, regardless of the consequences. Kimmel's bravery in the face of Trump's wrath has earned him a loyal following of fans who appreciate his no-nonsense approach to comedy. In conclusion, the exchange between Kimmel and Trump is just one example of the ongoing feud between the two. Trump's sensitivity to criticism and Kimmel's willingness to speak his mind will undoubtedly continue to fuel this feud for years to come. Only time will tell how this saga will end, but one thing is for sure, it will be entertaining to watch.
Less like a presidential candidate and more like my aunt. And then, of course, there's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
On the May 15th, 2024 broadcast of The Seth Meyers Show, the host delved into Donald Trump's legal troubles, specifically the Stormy Daniels case, and had the audience in stitches with his humorous take on Trump's courtroom snooze.
Santa Claus got up bright and early to post 165 venomous words about yours truly. And I'd like to go through that with you. Read it to you. It begins, "Stupid Jimmy Kimmel." We're off to a good start. Who still hasn't recovered from his horrendous performance and big ratings drop as host of the Academy Awards, especially when he showed he suffered from TDS, commonly known as Trump derangement syndrome. To the entire world by reading on air my truth about how bad a job he was doing that night, right before he stumbled through announcing the biggest award of all, Picture of the Year. It was a classic.
Late-night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel was overjoyed when he found out he was mentioned in the Stormy Daniels case. Kimmel's reaction showcased his playful humor and his willingness to jest about anyone, even the President of the United States. Along with his newfound fame from the Stormy Daniels case, Kimmel has been busy entertaining audiences with his sharp wit and amusing commentary. During a recent conversation with fellow talk show host Seth Meyers, Kimmel let his imagination run wild, imagining what could happen if President Trump was found guilty of a crime. Kimmel and Meyers exchanged quips and ideas, resulting in a hilarious conversation that included scenarios like Trump wearing an ankle monitor and sharing a prison cell with a chatty inmate. It's essential to note that Kimmel's musings are not meant to be taken seriously. Kimmel is a master of witty and irreverent humor, effortlessly poking fun at politicians, celebrities, and regular folks alike. In a world that can often be serious and heavy, Kimmel's brand of comedy provides a refreshing break. His recent media appearances remind us of the unifying power of humor, even in the most divisive of times. Whether we're laughing at ourselves, our leaders, or the world around us, humor has the unique ability to alleviate our fears, ease our burdens, and remind us that there's always something to smile about.
For a full half hour. Again? You know, I was excited for this trial, but it seems like the only thing we're accomplishing is making sure Trump is well rested before the election. Michael Cohen testified yesterday that former president wasn't thinking.
While watching a late-night talk show, I found myself amused by the idea of the host, Jimmy Kimmel, willingly getting arrested just to become President Trump's cellmate. Although it was an outrageous thought, it brought a smile to my face. The conversation between the two men was enlightening, as they shared their encounters with the former president and how he reacted to their jokes over the years. Despite their differing political views, it was fascinating to hear their personal stories. Kimmel shared a time when he made a joke about Trump's hair in a restaurant, and to his surprise, the president laughed and joined in. This was a rare moment of humor between the two men who had previously been at odds. Trump also shared a story about his appearance on Kimmel's show, where he felt nervous due to Kimmel's reputation for biting humor. During the interview, the man noticed that Kimmel was polite and kind, even though he posed challenging questions. As I tuned into their chat, I felt respect for both individuals. Despite their contrasting views, they managed to connect and communicate respectfully. This was a cue that amidst political unrest, there is still a chance for solidarity and empathy.
I wanted to congratulate you. You actually got mentioned in the proceedings because there was some text. And it was because you had Stormy Daniels on your show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It doesn't compare.
Jimmy Kimmel has a strong feeling that President Donald Trump holds a great disdain for him, which has been solidified over time due to their various interactions. Kimmel thinks that one of the primary reasons behind Trump's dislike is his frequent criticism of the president on his talk show. Kimmel is known for his outspoken criticism of Trump's policies and actions, which has not gone unnoticed by the president, who has attacked Kimmel on Twitter. In addition to this, Kimmel has had personal encounters with Trump that have left him feeling that the president does not like him. For instance, during the 2012 White House Correspondents' Dinner, Trump was visibly upset and angry after being roasted by then-President Barack Obama, and Kimmel believes that his jokes may have contributed to Trump's negative sentiments towards him. In summary, Kimmel's belief that Trump dislikes him is based on a mix of personal and public criticism. It's possible that Kimmel's blunt and fearless criticisms of Trump's actions and decisions have played a role in the president's distaste for the comedian. However, regardless of the cause, it's evident that these well-known individuals do not hold any affection for one another.
Rated along with him so I can drive him insane from the inside, too. That's what I want to do. And I'd love you to be my cellmate.
That would be great. It would be really fun. We just do like a daily talent show where we're just doing monologue jokes.
Just jokes about him.
Famous comedian Seth Meyers recounted his personal experiences with former U.S. President Donald Trump, who had criticized him for making jokes about him on his show. Trump was notorious for his thin skin and inability to take a joke, which was evident in his reaction to the jokes. Interestingly, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un also had plans for Trump. Reports suggest that Kim wanted to bring Trump bottles of ketchup when he was going to be tried in court because the courthouse rules prohibited eating or drinking inside, and Kim wanted to find a way around this rule for Trump. Late-night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel was also known for his scathing monologues and hilarious skits that made fun of the former president and his administration. It appears that Kimmel may have discovered a loophole in the courthouse regulations concerning Trump, given his reputation for being resourceful. Ultimately, the tales of Seth Meyers, Kim Jong-un, and Jimmy Kimmel function as a testament to the influence of humor. Although some may argue that comedians are excessively critical or unfeeling, it's crucial to remember that humor can unite people and highlight significant topics. Whether it's teasing politicians or trivializing weighty issues, comedians have a crucial responsibility in society, and we should applaud their talent for entertaining us while also making us contemplate.
Down to the courthouse, if you lived in New York full time, do you think you'd go down?
No, I want to go down with you. I
Okay.
think, because listen, we know he hates us.
100%.
100%.
Even with all the talk, it remains uncertain if the conflict between these hosts and Trump will ever cease. Nevertheless, we vow to keep you updated. If you liked this video, kindly subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when our next video is out.
This was a weird day. Our president this afternoon, I don't know if you saw this, but Donald Trump treated the media gathered in New York to a rambling, angry, jumbled, dishonest, and frequently incoherent hour and 20-minute long press conference. It might still be going. I don't know. I don't even know where to start. The wheels are off the wagon. It's time to put Grandpa in an assisted living facility because...
Kimmel has consistently transformed Trump's blunders and statements into comedic material, and he has been spot on every time. Trump has a reputation for being a headline grabber, often causing controversy with his words and actions. But Kimmel has never faltered in capitalizing on these moments.
They got into the fact in the press conference that Trump always seems to side with the men who are accused of sexual misconduct and never seems to believe the women.
Ever since Trump announced his bid for presidency in 2016, his popularity has been on the rise. Initially, the thought of him becoming president seemed like a far-fetched joke. However, as the 2016 election approached, Trump's campaign gained momentum, which surprised many, including Kimmel. Despite this, Kimmel has remained steadfast in his opinions about Trump. In a recent episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live, he tackled the legal issues surrounding the former president head-on.
Stupid Jimmy Kimmel. We're off to a good start. Who still hasn't recovered from his horrendous performance and big ratings drop as host of the Academy Awards, especially when he showed he suffered from TDS, commonly known as Trump derangement syndrome, to the entire world by reading on air my truth about how bad a job he was doing that night, right before he stumbled through announcing the biggest award of all, Picture of the Year. It was a classic joke.
To further complicate things, New York's Attorney General Letitia James has issued a warning that she may confiscate Donald Trump's property if he does not pay the significant penalty he received for his conviction of fraud.
Is on trial. He has 34 criminal charges against him. He's still mad about the Oscars. This was 5 weeks ago. My parents don't even care anymore. The only person still talking about this joke is him. It really must have got to him. By the way, in case you missed it, let's show that one more time.
Kimmel, known for his quick wit, may have cleverly incorporated one of Trump's catchphrases into his comedy routine as a response to the president's controversial comments about sexually assaulting women. Prior to his entry into politics, Trump had a questionable history with women, as evidenced by a legal dispute with E. Jean Carroll, a retired columnist for Elle magazine. Recently, headlines have been focused on the accusation that Trump sexually assaulted Miss Carroll in the lingerie section of a popular New York store during the 90s. It's worth noting that Carroll was not the only woman Trump allegedly attempted to pursue.
As you may know, maybe you don't know, opening arguments began this morning in the people of the state of New York versus Donald Jessica Trump, the city that never sleeps versus the defendant who keeps nodding off during the trial. The defendant was very defensive this morning. He was in all caps mode and then some. He posted witch hunt. He posted election interference, little bursts of lunacy like a crazy man yelling at no one on a street corner.
Trust us when we tell you that during the May 2023 legal proceedings, a jury unanimously ordered Trump to pay Carroll $5 million in damages for both assault and defamation. However, Trump was not going to accept this verdict quietly. He took to his Truth Social platform to denounce Carroll's accusations as lies. calling them a scam and a complete falsehood. He even went so far as to label Carroll's charges as a hoax.
It's never, not to this extent, ever happened before. I'm not allowed to defend myself, and yet other people are allowed to say whatever they want about me. Very, very unfair. Having to do with the schools and the closings, that's Biden's fault. And by the way, this trial is all Biden. You know, this is all Biden, just in case anybody has any question. And they're keeping me in a courtroom that's freezing, by the way, in a courtroom all day long.
Luckily for Trump, the trial was a civil one, which spared him from facing any criminal consequences like imprisonment. The ruling caused Carroll to receive death threats from Trump's followers. It's unfortunate that Trump did not show any remorse and downplayed Carroll's allegations in the other New York case, despite the court's criticism. Trump's justification for the hefty penalty was challenged by Kimmel after he declared on social media that he had undervalued his assets. Kimmel seized the opportunity to make a joke about Trump's ability to pay the now $450 million bill with interest.
He somehow manages to overshadow it with this broken-brained interpretation of what happened at Gettysburg during the Civil War. Buckle up, everybody. This is an all-timer.
Gettysburg, what an unbelievable battle that was. The Battle of Gettysburg, what an unbelievable, I mean, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represented such a big portion of the success of this country. Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch.
Donald Trump's fraudulent actions have been likened to a deceitful real estate agent attempting to sell a small home as a massive estate spanning over 100 acres. Despite Trump's bold declaration of increased asset value from his actions, the truth behind his financial dealings was eventually exposed. In a bold move, Letitia James filed a lawsuit against Trump, his 3 eldest children, former CFO Alan Weisselberg, former controller Jeffrey McCann, and 10 Trump-affiliated entities. The lawsuit alleged that the Trump Organization engaged in a series of fraudulent activities, including inflating property values, lying about occupancy rates, and evading taxes. After months of legal battles, Justice Anderson recently announced a verdict that found the Trump Organization guilty of financial fraud. The ruling was a major blow to Trump's reputation, as it confirmed what many had suspected for years, that the former president had engaged in shady business practices to boost his personal wealth. The guilty verdict also cast a shadow over Trump's children, who had been heavily involved in the family business. Despite the damning evidence against him, Trump has continued to deny any wrongdoing. He has maintained that the lawsuit is nothing more than a politically motivated attack on his character and legacy. However, the evidence presented in court suggests otherwise. The Trump Organization had been caught red-handed, engaging in fraudulent activities that had put countless people at risk. In conclusion, the verdict against the Trump Organization serves as a reminder that no one is above the law. Even those in positions of power and influence must be held accountable for their actions. The ruling sends a clear message to others in the business world that fraudulent activities will not be tolerated and that justice will be served.
New York, the city that never sleeps unless you're Donald Trump in a courtroom.
So far, the only thing that can keep him awake is an iPad playing Bluey. He's like, all right.
I've seen this one. Multiple reports said Trump's head drooped until his chin hit his chest. The Trump campaign also pushed back on reports that he fell asleep in court yesterday. They said that was fake news. He's very sleepy. Is it possible his lawyers are tranquilizing him? If Biden is Sleepy Joe, I guess that makes you Dozo the Clown.
Hibernating bears don't sleep this much. I'm starting to think when they say he slept with a porn star, they meant literally.
The legal battle that had been raging for what seemed like an eternity had finally come to an end. The twists and turns of the case had left everyone involved feeling weary and uncertain about what the outcome would be. But now, after much deliberation and countless hours spent in court, a ruling had been issued. The news was not good for Donald Trump's empire. The judge had handed down a severe penalty, a whopping $335 million fine. This amount was staggering, and many wondered how the company would be able to recover from such a significant blow. To make matters worse, the interest on the fine could increase the total amount even further, compounding the already steep penalty. But the most troubling aspect of the ruling was yet to come. Donald Jr. and Eric Trump, two of the former president's closest advisors and confidants, were now forbidden from conducting any business in New York for 3 years. This news was a devastating blow to the family, who had built up a vast network of business interests across the state. The ramifications of this ruling were significant. The Trump family's influence in New York had been severely curtailed, and their ability to conduct business in the state had been severely limited. The family would need to explore new avenues to maintain their wealth and influence, and many were left wondering what the future would hold for the Trumps. Despite the ruling, Donald Trump remained defiant. He vowed to fight the judgment, and many of his supporters rallied behind him, insisting that the ruling was unjust and politically motivated. But for others, the judgment was seen as a long overdue reckoning, a sign that even the most powerful and influential figures in society were not above the law. The legal battles that have been plaguing former President Donald Trump and his family continue to mount, with each passing day bringing news of yet another setback or penalty. In the latest development, it has been revealed that each of Trump's sons has been hit with penalties exceeding $4 million, adding to the already considerable financial strain that the family is under. These legal challenges have come fast and furious for Trump, with a series of major setbacks occurring in just the last 2 months. For instance, he was recently defeated by E. Jean Carroll in a highly publicized defamation lawsuit, which has put immense pressure on him and his company. This is just one of many legal battles that Trump has been fighting over the last few years, from allegations of fraud and tax evasion to accusations of sexual assault and harassment. As a result of these mounting legal challenges and the increasing fines that are being levied against him and his family, it is becoming increasingly conceivable that Trump may be forced to contemplate declaring bankruptcy. This would be a major blow to his reputation, as well as his financial standing, and could have far-reaching consequences for his political and business career. Despite these challenges, however, Trump has remained defiant and has continued to proclaim his innocence and his willingness to fight on. He has also lashed out at his opponents, accusing them of being part of a vast conspiracy against him and his family. Whether he will be able to weather this storm and emerge stronger on the other side remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the legal battles that he is facing are far from over, and the stakes are higher than ever before. In contrast, Kimmel has managed to maintain a lighthearted and captivating tone amidst the heavy. During a comedic segment, Colbert poked fun at Greenwood's song and suggested that people should also be aware of his other major hit, "Thank You for Blessing the USA, God." This implies that Greenwood may not be well known, which is understandable since the song was released in the 80s. However, "God Bless the USA" is considered his signature song. Trump believed that partnering with a country performer who has a patriotic hit would help him connect with people in terms of patriotism and would complement his Bible-selling efforts. The Late Show acknowledged this and even played a clip of Greenwood's promotional video for his collaboration with Trump, which features a limited edition of "God Bless the USA," inspired by the hit song.
I believe the God Bless the USA Bible is the best holy scripture named after a country song since the Take This Job and Shove It Bhagavad Gita.
During his late-night show, Stephen Colbert took a jab at a recent political advertisement that boasted having the most patriotic anthem in the country. Colbert playfully challenged his audience to name a more renowned patriotic tune, only to later reveal that he was just kidding. With a grin, he declared that the most patriotic anthem in the USA is undoubtedly "Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus, eliciting laughter from his viewers. Colbert then extended his gratitude to Cyrus for her service with a touch of sarcasm, before changing the subject to President Trump's recent photo opportunity with a Bible. With a wry smile, Colbert made a clever reference to Johnny Paycheck's "Take This Job and Shove It" as being the best holy scripture named after a country song, all while subtly acknowledging the revered Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Colbert's sharp wit and astute observations about politics and culture have made him a favorite in the late-night talk show scene, and his latest monologue was no exception. Amidst the difficulties of the current situation, everyone manages to find something humorous to brighten their mood.
So you're spending $60 on public domain writing.
Trump recently shared a promotional video in which he unveiled a fresh take on the Bible. This updated version features the King James translation, alongside the Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, and Pledge of Allegiance. However, some have criticized this offering as a ripoff. Given its $60 price tag, Colbert was quick to point out this issue.
If you order now, you'll get all the lyrics to Camptown Races and a picture of Jesus' most beloved disciple, Steamboat Willie.
Merely to offer an assemblage of pre-existing written works to the general audience. Colbert. During his show, Colbert shared another clip from Trump's promotional video where he politely encouraged Americans to keep a Bible at home, specifically this Bible. He even mentioned having so many Bibles at home that he needs spares because they burst into flames whenever he touches them. Colbert made a humorous remark about this. It seems that Donald Trump is having a rather challenging day today. The reason for this is the unexpected arrival of his son, Eric Trump. Now, Eric is quite unaware of the political games that his father is known to play, and this has caused quite a stir amongst those around them. In fact, it has even caused the typically composed and controlled bear, who was observing the scene, to lose his cool and chuckle. It is clear that Donald Trump's political games are not only causing him trouble with his political opponents, but also with those closest to him. It is no surprise that Eric may be unaware of the extent of his father's political dealings, given that he has been busy running his own businesses. However, it does seem that this lack of awareness is causing some tension amongst the family. Perhaps this is an opportunity for Donald Trump to reflect on the impact that his political games are having on those around him. It is easy to get caught up in the game of politics, but it is important to remember that there are real people and relationships at stake. Hopefully, this experience will serve as a wake-up call to Donald Trump, and he will start to reconsider his approach to politics.
Gag order. You ask me a question, a simple question, I'd like to give it, but I can't talk about it. Because this judge has given me a gag order and said you'll go to jail if you violate it. And frankly, you know what? Our Constitution is much more important than jail. It's not even close. I'll do that sacrifice.
During the trial, the judge had imposed a strict gag order on all participants, witnesses, and anyone else who could potentially influence the outcome of the case. This included a ban on any comments or posts on social media that could be perceived as prejudicial or could sway public opinion. To enforce this order, the judge had imposed a penalty of $100 for every post made on the internet that made fun of the witnesses or participants in the trial. This was done to prevent future violations and to ensure that the integrity of the trial was maintained. Colbert, being a satirical comedian, was quick to address this issue on his show. He clarified the specifics of the penalty and its applicability to each of the 9 posts that had already been made. Moreover, he showed that the judge had warned Trump that if he broke the law 10 more times and posted anything on social media that could potentially influence the outcome of the trial, he would be sent to jail. In light of this warning, Trump had decided not to post any comments on social media for just 1 day after coming out of court. This decision was met with much amusement and ridicule from the audience, who were well aware of Trump's penchant for posting inflammatory and controversial comments on social media. Overall, the gag order and the penalty imposed by the judge served as a reminder of the importance of maintaining the integrity of the legal system and the need to prevent any outside interference in the trial process.
Everybody's known that story for years. That's what most people don't realize, is that in South Dakota, they've used that story to attack me in my political campaigns for years. I wanted people to know the truth.
Recent news reports have revealed that South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has been involved in a highly controversial incident involving her pet dog, Chrysit. The governor has been accused of killing her 14-month-old dog, citing its aggressive and untrainable behavior as the reason for her actions. In a recent interview, Governor Noem clarified her position and explained that Chrysit had become a danger to her family and was behaving aggressively towards her children. This, she claimed, had left her with no other choice but to take drastic action to protect her family. However, many animal rights activists and pet owners have criticized the governor for her actions, arguing that there are other options available for dealing with aggressive pets. They argue that the governor's decision to kill her dog sets a dangerous precedent and sends the wrong message to pet owners everywhere. Moreover, Governor Noem's appeal to the public public to consider placing themselves in a difficult situation highlighted the complex and emotionally charged nature of pet ownership. Many pet owners have faced similar dilemmas in the past, where they have had to choose between their children's safety and the welfare of their pets. In conclusion, the controversy surrounding Governor Newsom's decision to kill her pet dog has brought to the forefront the complex and often challenging nature of pet ownership. While there may be no easy solutions to such situations, it is important for pet owners to consider all options carefully and to seek help and advice before taking drastic.
I mean, you could, I don't know, but Russia, if you're listening, maybe you know if it's legal. Could you write the answer down on 500 million pieces of paper and have it put in my account?
The issue of bail surrounding the former President Donald Trump's financial woes is certainly a mixed bag of emotions. Some may find it humorous, while others may feel a sense of sadness for the man who once held the highest office in the land. Regardless of how one feels about the situation, it's important to set it aside for the moment and focus on the upcoming presidential elections. As a contender for the presidency, one can only imagine what Trump's thoughts are on how his past financial troubles will impact his chances. His multiple bankruptcies, convictions, and now the hefty bail that he must pay all cast a shadow over his candidacy. Will voters be able to look past these issues and focus on his policies, or will they be too distracted by his personal shortcomings? It's possible that we may see late-night talk show hosts like Stephen Colbert offering up their witty takes on the matter. Colbert, who has made a name for himself by poking fun at politicians and their missteps, is sure to give Trump a good ribbing. But while the jokes may bring a chuckle or two, they also highlight the seriousness of the situation. The presidency is no laughing matter, and voters must carefully consider the character and integrity of those seeking the office. In the end, the decision on who to vote for will be left up to the American people. It is up to them to decide whether they want a leader with a checkered past or someone who can bring a fresh perspective to the Oval Office. Whatever the outcome, it's important to remember that democracy is a privilege and a responsibility, and one that should never be taken for granted.
The guiltier he is, the more the crowd loves him. It's never a great sign when your press conference answers could just as easily be cackled by the Joker.
It is no secret that Donald Trump has always been a controversial figure, and his recent statements are no exception. Even though some may be shocked by his words, it is important to remember that they are consistent with his past behavior. From his divisive rhetoric to his questionable business practices, Trump has always been a polarizing figure in the public eye. However, it is not just his words that are causing concern. Trump's actions, or lack thereof, are also a cause for worry. Despite numerous warnings and pleas from health experts, he continues to downplay the severity of the COVID-19 pandemic and refuses to take appropriate action to protect the American people. But as the saying goes, what goes up must come down. Trump's inevitable downfall seems to be approaching rapidly, and we will continue to report on it as it unfolds. Whether it is due to his numerous legal troubles or his inability to effectively govern, the end of his presidency seems to be in sight. If his appeal fails, which seems likely, bankruptcy may be his only option. It is no secret that Trump has a history of financial troubles, and his reluctance to acknowledge them may finally catch up with him. Despite his wealth and power, he is not immune to the consequences of his actions. Furthermore, Trump's reputation has been irreparably damaged by his conviction for fraud. This is a fact that he cannot deny. No matter how hard he tries to spin the narrative, his legacy will forever be tarnished by this stain on his record. In conclusion, it is clear that Trump's time in the spotlight is coming to an end. The American people deserve better than a president who prioritizes his own interests over the needs of the nation. As we continue to report on his downfall, we must remain vigilant and hold our leaders accountable for their actions. Share your opinions with us in the comment section, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.